So Nike have just pulled one of the most genius, and I mean this, genius Caitlin Clark hype things we've seen. And I am very impressed because I was not high on what Nike had done. I thought Nike had done a lot of really bad things with Caitlin.
Nike just did something they've only done for one other athlete in the last 20 years. And if you know anything about sports marketing, you know exactly what that means. What you're about to hear isn't just another endorsement deal or another commercial drop. This is the moment Nike looked at Caitlin Clark and said, we're not just selling shoes anymore. We're building a legacy. And the way they did it? Absolutely chilling. Christmas morning, 2024. Families are opening presents. Kids are playing with new toys. And then Nike dropped...
This is the Caitlin Clark commercial just released earlier this morning. Caitlin Clark is proof that you can make it from anywhere.
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there. No chance.
Caitlin, from me to let.
You got it. I'm not even gonna ask.
Hey, Caitlin, from...
commercial that stops the internet cold. From anywhere. 2 words that sound simple until you realize what Nike just weaponized. This isn't about basketball range. This is about creating a phrase that will echo in gymnasiums, playgrounds, and living rooms for the next generation. The same way kids used to scream Kobe every time they shot paper into a trash can, Nike wants your daughter yelling Caitlin when she pulls up from the logo. And after watching this commercial, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. The commercial opens with Caitlin Clark outside, casually shooting hoops. A young
From here might be impressive. Am I right?
Whatever, Che.
From right here.
From there!
From anywhere.
All right, well, looks like she can do it.
All right. I know we've been on Nike's neck as of lately.
girl walks up and asks the question that starts everything. Hey, Caitlin, can you make it from there? And then it begins. Travis Kelce pops up. How about from here? Jason Kelce appears. Travis Scott joins in. One by one, celebrities stack up, all asking the same thing. Each one more skeptical than the last. And every single time, Caitlin backs up, locks in, and drains it. No hesitation. No doubt. Just pure, cold-blooded confidence. The song playing underneath? Boys Want to Be Her by...
Stephen Curry has been the most popular player in the sport for a decade. And the reason? The long ball is the most exciting thing. Because the ball just goes flying out of someone's hand and lands.
And that right there tells you everything you need to know about what Nike is trying to do. They're not marketing to basketball fans. They're marketing to culture itself. Now, let me tell you why this is the LeBron treatment. When LeBron James was coming up, Nike didn't just give him a shoe deal. They built an empire around him. They made him bigger than basketball. They turned him into a cultural icon before he even won a championship. That's what's happening here. Caitlin Clark's signature shoe doesn't drop until spring 2026.
All in on Caitlin Clark after a while, after a little bit of a dormant period. Number two, 2026 is going to be just absolutely massive for her from a marketing.
We repeat that. Spring 2026. That's 16 months away. And Nike is already running national commercials with A-list celebrities on Christmas Day. Do you understand the level of investment that represents? Nike is betting hundreds of millions of dollars that Caitlin Clark isn't just a flash in the pan. They're betting she's the future of women's basketball. And honestly, after what we've seen, that's not even a risky bet anymore. But here's where it gets interesting. Nike has been criticized, and rightfully so, for how they've handled Caitlin up until now. Remember the Super Bowl ad? The one where Caitlin was just another face in a crowd of male athletes? That was trash. Absolute trash. She deserved better. She deserved to be front and center, not playing backup dancer to a bunch of guys who couldn't move the needle half as much as she does. But this commercial? This is different. This is Nike finally understanding what they have. Caitlyn isn't sharing the screen. She's not the supporting act. Every celebrity in that ad exists to prop her up, to highlight her greatness. And that shift in strategy tells you everything about how Nike views her now. The phrase "from anywhere" works on multiple levels, and that's the genius of it. On the surface, yeah, it's about shooting range. Caitlin Clark pulling up from 30 feet like it's a layup. But dig deeper. From anywhere means you can make it from Des Moines, Iowa. You can make it from small town Arkansas. You can make it from places that don't have marble high school gyms or million-dollar training facilities. Nike just turned a basketball tagline into a motivational mantra for every kid who's ever been told they're from the wrong place to make it big. That's not marketing. That's cultural warfare. And it's brutally effective. Now, let's talk about what Nike is really betting on here. They're not just selling a shoe. They're creating a verbal trademark. Think about it. When Steph Curry changed the game with his three-point shooting, it became synonymous with the Warriors, with championships, with a specific era. But Caitlin Clark? She's doing something bigger. She's making deep-range shooting accessible and aspirational for young girls who never saw themselves in the sport before. Dick's Sporting Goods already gave her an entire section on their website. Not a page, a section. Caitlin's Court. You can buy hoodies, training equipment, everything. When has a WNBA player ever gotten that kind of retail real estate? Never. Because it's never happened before. Target sold out of Caitlin Clark trading cards at full price during Christmas shopping season. Not on clearance. Sold out. That's the kind of market power we're talking about. But there's a darker side to this fairy tale that nobody wants to address. Spring 2026. That's when the shoe drops. That's also when the WNBA might not have a season. The league and the players' union are locked in CBA negotiations right now. And if those talks fall apart, there's no basketball. None. Nike just timed their biggest women's basketball investment ever to coincide with a potential lockout. The irony is absolutely insane. They've built this massive From Anywhere campaign, got celebrities involved, paid content creators like Jesser and Lethal Shooter to run viral challenges with the hashtag, and all of it depends on the WNBA season actually happening. If there's no games in spring 2026, this entire marketing blitz collapses. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Do you think Nike is just going to sit back and watch their investment crumble? We're talking about $1 billion corporation with massive leverage in the sports world. I'm not saying Nike is going to make phone calls. I'm just saying it would be really, really convenient if those CBA negotiations suddenly got resolved right around the time the shoe is supposed to launch. Just connecting dots here. But when you've got that much money on the line, funny how things have a way of working themselves out. Let's address the elephant in the room. Aya Wilson. Some people think Nike delayed Caitlin's shoe because they didn't want to upset Aya, who's been waiting for her signature shoe for years. And look, Aya Wilson is an incredible player, MVP-level talent, absolute monster on the court. But if we're being honest about business, and I mean brutally honest, Caitlin Clark moves more merchandise, generates more views, and creates more mainstream interest than any WNBA player in history. That's not disrespect. That's measurable fact. Nike should have had Caitlin's shoe ready for her rookie season. Imagine the sales if she could have worn her signature shoe while breaking every viewership record in the league. Instead, we got delays, corporate politics, and now a launch that might coincide with a lockout. But let me tell you what Nike got absolutely right with this commercial. The song choice, Boys Want to Be Her. That's not random. That's strategic genius. Because that's exactly what Caitlin Clark represents. She's the player who transcends gender barriers in sports viewership. Guys are watching WNBA games because of her. That's unprecedented. That never happens. And Nike captured that perfectly. Here's my bold prediction, and you can call me crazy in the comments if you want. Caitlin Clark's signature shoe is going to become Nike's most profitable basketball partnership. Not just in the WNBA. More profitable than some NBA deals. Why? Because basketball's most exciting play is the deep three. Period. Doesn't matter if it's Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, or Caitlin Clark. When someone pulls up from 30 feet and drains it, that's appointment viewing. That's highlight reel material. That's what gets replayed a million times on social media. Nike is betting everything that Caitlin Range becomes the new Curry Range. And if kids start yelling Caitlin instead of Kobe when they take long shots, Nike prints money for the next decade. But there's something else happening here that's bigger than shoes or commercials. The uncomfortable truth is that the WNBA needs Caitlin more than Caitlin needs the WNBA. If there's a lockout, Caitlin still has her Nike deal. She still has her endorsements. She still has her massive social media following. The league loses viewership, momentum, and potentially years of growth. The Indiana Fever went from completely irrelevant to must-watch television because of one player. Jersey sales exploded. Ticket prices skyrocketed. Viewership numbers went through the roof. Those aren't opinions. Those are measurable facts. The power dynamic in women's basketball has shifted, and Caitlin Clark is the leverage. Now, some people are going to say this puts too much pressure on one player, that it's unfair to make everything about Caitlin Clark. And you know what? They're not entirely wrong. But when one player generates more interest than the rest of the league combined, we have to acknowledge that reality. She's not just a great player. She's a cultural phenomenon. If everything goes right, if Caitlin Range becomes a thing, if kids around the world start shooting from the logo and yelling her name, that's generational impact. That's Michael Jordan, be like Mike, level cultural penetration. Nike has never had a women's basketball shoe achieve that. Not with Lisa Leslie. Not with Diana Taurasi. Not with anyone. This would be completely unprecedented. And if Nike pulls this off, every other brand is going to scramble. Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, all of them will throw money at women's basketball, trying to find the next Caitlin Clark. That means more endorsement deals for WNBA players, more mainstream coverage, more investment in the league. Caitlin's individual success could literally transform the entire ecosystem. But there's one massive problem Nike hasn't solved. International markets. European fans literally cannot buy Caitlin Clark merchandise. It's not available. Nike created all this global hype and then failed to actually sell products internationally. They're leaving millions, possibly tens of millions of dollars on the table. So when Nike says from anywhere, they apparently mean anywhere except Europe, Asia, or most of the world outside America. That's either the biggest marketing oversight of the decade, or Nike genuinely doesn't understand how massive Caitlin Clark could be on a global scale. The timeline is set. The commercial dropped on Christmas Day. The shoe launches in 16 months. The question nobody can answer is whether there will be a season to launch it into. Nike is betting hundreds of millions that the WNBA gets its act together. This is bigger than basketball now. This is about whether the league can capitalize on the biggest star in its history, or whether corporate politics and labor disputes will waste the most important moment women's basketball has ever had. From anywhere suddenly feels more like from right here, right now. The next 16 months will determine if Caitlin Clark becomes a global icon or just another what could have been story. And honestly, after watching Nike give her the LeBron treatment, my money's on the icon.